feelings that don't have words. You know the ones, the kind that sit in your chest all day long and don't move, no matter how many times you talk about them or don't talk about them. And there's something that happens when you pick up an instrument in those moments, something that goes beyond distraction or avoidance, beyond just relaxing or calming down. You start to actually move this energy, this lump in your chest, this closed throat, this pulsing feeling that won't go away. Today, I want to talk about why that's not just in your imagination, it's biology. I'm so excited about today's episode because it is the birthday of someone who I think is absolutely amazing and out of this world. And the topic is therapy. And this person is an absolute expert in that. So that makes me feel like the resonance of this show is right on track. We're going to talk about some studies and findings that are specifically about lowering your cortisol levels, reducing stress, reducing things that create anxiety and really intense feelings that can be debilitating for your life from a psychological point of view, from a therapeutic point of view. And we've got the studies and the brain chemicals and the scans to prove it. I'm super excited about these topics. If you haven't heard our series on brain, go back and listen to that. We'll have more on the body, and we're going to put it all together for you in this sort of 5-series arc. If we haven't met, I'm EP Archer, and I help committed adults improve their quality of life with music. We're in the middle of this arc where playing an instrument as an adult matters more than most people realize. So we talked about the brain yesterday. Today, we're going deeper into your emotional and stress response. So grab your favorite cup of tea and let's jump in. NIH-published study cited that playing an instrument was significantly more effective at lowering cortisol than calligraphy, clay molding. I don't know if any of you have been on the school platform, but there's tons of amazing hobby. You can learn a hobby and it's fun and it's in a community, right? And it's a manageable cost. And there's pretty much something for everyone, right? There's like sword dancing and all kinds of really fun stuff. But if you're going to pick a hobby, you know I'm the biggest fan of music. Pick music because it's more effective than just relaxing, more effective than coloring, watching TV, checking out. And the way they measured this was salivary cortisol and state trait anxiety inventory scores. You know, music is how I process my deepest, darkest feelings, and anywhere that you go that you don't feel you can share with anyone directly, that's in the depths of your soul, you can share with music, and you can be present with that, whether it's an instrumental or a lyric or a combination. But being able to go to that dark place, that Plutonian urge, is so key in being able to be a whole person, to be integrated, to be able to express in different ways in your life. And the reason that we feel those dark things and we can go down to topics like death and the dark night of the soul are because it's directly related to music and how we feel. And if you didn't know this already, the major contributing factor to 6 of the leading causes of death in the United States, cancer, heart disease, injuries, respiratory disorders, cirrhosis, and suicide, is emotional stress. There is not a better activity that you can do for emotional stress because there's not another activity that is so cathartic in the way you process, in the way you express. And I love having something that is objective. It's outside of ourselves. It's not something that we need to judge or to put a limitation on. We can play and listen and feel and process even through one note, one singing dark note with vibrato. It's just the intent you put behind it and the knowledge that we give our brain, hey, I'm not here to win a competition. Well, maybe I am. Maybe some of you are, and that's cool too. But let's get into a brain state of this is for me, this is to release, and imagine how much longer we get to live as a result. So you probably already know about chemicals in your body, and getting a dopamine hit is amazing, right? We get it when we have an idea on an instrument, when we have a big success, you know, that juicy electric feeling that you get. Well, playing music stimulates the release of both dopamine, our reward neurotransmitter, and oxytocin. It's that same chemical that when you get a really nice hug, when you get caressed in physical touch, we get both of those from playing music. And what that does, it increases your connection and trust with yourself, your connection and trust with music, and with other people. And that's why you feel better. It doesn't matter if you made mistakes or you're playing a Tchaikovsky concerto. It just matters that you're playing the music, and all of a sudden there is an energetic connection, and it's not just your energy. It is measured in your neurons and your neurotransmitters. The Frontiers in Psychology meta-analysis, this is a recent study, y'all. This is like last year. That's why some of this stuff I'm so excited about, because it's like this research is here and it's current, and I want you to know about it. But music-based interventions, including playing instruments, significantly decreases anxiety and depression, while also improving subjective well-being and the quality of life. They found this in Swedish studies as well, where they tested against diagnoses of depression, anxiety, and stress-related disorders, where instrumentalists show a tendency to lower depression scores than non-musicians. You know, playing music requires us to be present, fully engaged with our hands, our fingers, our arms, our body, our torso, our rooting, our grounding, our feet, our brain, what we're hearing, what we're seeing, what's in front of us. And that is sort of an automatic trigger for mindfulness. If you're not mindful, you can't make the sound. It literally takes that much of your brain, which is a good thing. So it works the same way for quieting our mental chatter, for being able to just focus on that moment and that feeling that we have. When we can't find the words for something, music is our language. Our instrument gives us a way to say it without having to use words, without that raw vulnerability of trying to form a sentence around something that might feel really hard or stressful, or that we can't even put our finger on to describe what it might be. That's not just poetic, that is communication at the deepest level. And that is music as a language for our feeling, doing exactly what it was designed to do for us. So your instrument is not just something you play when you're already calm, or when you schedule time in your schedule, or because it's something that you attend to, or because I have a hobby and I'm going to do it today. It is something that you play to get to calm. It's something that you play to return to yourself, and the research shows it. Measurably, chemically, structurally, when you sit down to play, your body starts doing something different with cortisol and stress that it's been holding. You're not escaping, you're not avoiding, you're not self-medicating. You're actually processing it in a gentle, kind, emotionally cathartic way. And that is not a small thing. This is a world that gives us very few tools to do that, and very few spaces and opportunities to have that release and connection to ourselves emotionally. You can express without the pressure of it having to be a certain way. I promise you, just pick up your instrument, and that is today's mini homework. So the next time you feel crappy or overwhelmed, or you need that dopamine hit and you're about to grab a bag of chips, or you're about to scroll, before you pour the wine, pick up the instrument, even for 5 minutes. Be with yourself, play even one note and then another. Sing, be there, and notice what happens. You can play something that matches how you feel. If you're feeling angst and aggro, then scratch that bow down or holler out a scream. It doesn't have to be cheerful. We're not masking or trying to cover something up. We are just being with how we feel with an instrument as our tool, the same way you would if you just started automatic drawing. So go to your instrument, see how it feels. The people that have always said music saved me, and I am one of them, aren't being dramatic. They're describing a biological reality. Your instrument is one of the few things in your life that was designed to specifically hold this feeling. So use it that way. And if you don't own an instrument yet, there is no time like the present to begin something that will impact you emotionally in every category of your life, biologically, physically, mentally, and yes, spiritually. So go grab yourself an instrument, even if it's not the violin. You get to have this tool and this resource. You get to be closer than you've ever been to yourself and your expression in the most gentle and beautiful way. Hey, if you're an adult and you're over 30 and you're playing the violin and you want to get better tone and feel confident in the way you play, we have a super special offering, free group for you to learn about our method, somatic resonance for violin, where you can finally unlock violin for yourself, not by yourself, but in a group of committed adults. Join us with the link. I can't wait to see you there. Your best music is on the other side.